Hello, Earth signs. How are you guys doing this week? This reading is for the week of July 18th. So, big hugs, high fives, fist pumps, whatever you guys are comfortable with. Just to tell you guys, thank you so very much for such an awesome experience so far. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for just being you. I really appreciate it. So, once again, I know that my weeklies are really different from my monthlies. So this weekly is going to be different again. Sorry. No predictions. At least I'll try to stay away from them because sometimes I see stuff and I got to give you like a heads up. But this is going to be the focus on like, why are you even watching this reading? Like, that's what it's called. Why do you need this reading? This is a message from your spirit guide. Okay, this is usually a reading that I do for people before we even start their reading, when they have no clue on why they're calling me or what or for people who have never had a reading, they don't understand what it's like. So I always ask them, what do you want to know about? And they're like, I don't know. So let's find out what we need to know about. And that's what I use this reading for. So this is where we're at today for this week of July 18th. Last week we focused on self-love. This week we're going to focus on what our spirit guides want to tell us. So last week they were telling us to love ourselves, right? Now this week, this is our message that they have for you guys, which is the ancestor of boundaries. Does that strike a chord with anybody? Oh, yeah. And before we get started, guys, this is a general reading, okay? Very general reading. It's not specific for anyone. If it resonates with you, super awesome. If it doesn't, toss it to the side. Thanks for giving me a chance. Maybe next time. If I still don't resonate with you, I'm really sorry. Okay? So get the pieces that do hit home for you, because not all of it will. It's not going to be a personal reading. If you want a personal reading, you can hit me up on my Instagram at Ariana Luciano, or you can email me at arianaluciano@gmail.com. Okay? So without further ado, guys, we're looking at the Shaman Oracle card by Will Kingham and John Matthews. And you can see right here a nice, big, sturdy bull. All right, how much better for you, Earth signs? This is your ancestor. So basically, this is your spirit guide is somebody from your family. For all of you guys. Well, for the ones that it resonates with, for the other ones, I'm sorry, may not be your ancestor. But for the ones who this resonates with, this is your ancestor, okay? This is somebody who's really trying to teach you a lesson this week. They've probably been teaching you for a while and you just haven't really been listening. It's all about the boundaries, and healthy boundaries at that. You don't want the boundaries too tight. Well, can't nobody get in, okay? So I'm going to read this to you, and then I'm going to tell you a lot about the bull totem, because I had to look it up. Because I was like, man, I'm not giving out enough information on this bull totem. There has to be more. So I'm the ancestor of boundaries. I help you to recognize the places where you must not go, as well as those where you can draw upon and fill up your strength, and the places you must guard. So this is what I'm getting. You're going to places you're not supposed to. You're going to places that you need to have more strength. And there are things that you're not guarding. Okay? Now he says, I can give you the energy you need to break free from restraint and run alongside me on the winds of change. So what does that tell us, Earth sign? There's a change a-coming, okay? When you stand on the spot where the road stretches in other lands and you require the strength to move forward, look for me. I will carry you onward for as long as you need. Okay, so you're not alone. Guys, there's some changes coming into your lives. And your ancestors like, please, come on. Put up some barriers. Stop the bullshit. And let's go get something better. Okay? That's how I feel like it's telling you. Okay? This is about boundaries can protect as much as they can constrain. So I have some earth signs who are just giving too much of themselves to people who aren't worth it, people, places, and things that aren't worth it, jobs, whatever. And then I have some earth signs who have lived their lives in captivity. So it's like it's like a big difference between the two of you guys, okay? Here we go. Interpretation. Human strength and courage. Recognizing your own boundaries and those of others. acknowledging your areas of strength. Now, I looked at the bull totem for you. This tells me you're at a crossroads right now, earth signs. Okay? And so I want you to know that the bull totem, just because I put fertility, does not mean that you're going to go and impregnate the world. However, there's going to be an abundance. That's what the bull is about, abundance. Because if you think about it, the bull, this is so crazy, impregnates like a whole bunch of cows. Like you only need one bull to get all the cows pregnant. You have that energy. So if you think about that kind of an abundance, and not just an abundance and you know, and having sex or, you know, having babies or whatever, but think about it in that abundance in creativity, that abundance in money, that abundance in having new ideas to change out of the molds. You want a different way of doing things. You're abundant in that area if you get the boundaries up and keep the bullshit out, okay? So the message is use your God-given strengths. Hold your ground. Okay, because if I were to see a bull, I'm not gonna go try to walk up next to him. I'm gonna go far away. Okay, and that's what you kind of got to do. You got to stand up for yourself, and you got to manifest what you want. You can't just expect for things to happen. It's time for you to make it happen, Captain. Okay, earth signs, step up. It's time for you to be the bull. All right, it doesn't want to go anymore, so I'm just gonna keep it how it was. All right. So like I said, this is a different reading this week, okay? This is what your spirit guide wants to tell you. In earth signs, this is like a really strong one. I can feel it because you automatically have an earth sign right in front of you telling you this is your ancestor and they're tired of, okay. You know how y'all had the tower reversed the last time? I hope some of y'all heeded the warning. Because if you do not, what happens is that the tower is going to happen. You're not going to escape what your ancestors are keeping you from. Okay? So this time they're telling you, look, we've already gave you the warning. You need to love yourself more. You need to respect yourself. And remember, it was honor last week. Live in honor. And now it's telling you, put up some, watch my mouth. Put up some boundaries for yourself, and it said for others. Remember that, okay, as we go along. So here we go. Why I need this reading. So why did you tune in today? Okay, that's what your ancestor wants you to know. And the Cherub of Arrows is bringing that information to you. And it's, oh, damn, fertility. Uh-oh. The Ace of Cups. Ooh, maybe somebody is fertile. I don't know. What is my spirit guide trying to tell me? And I have the Cherub of Wands here because, you know, the Cherub of Wands is all about action, baby. He's going to beat you in the head and he's going to make sure you listen, okay? The King of Arrows. Leo, how are you doing? Now, the advice. And I picked the Cherub of Cups because this is something I want you guys to always understand. I talk a lot of noise. I talk a lot of noise sometimes. But I believe that the best way to get a message through to somebody when you give advice or when you're offering assistance is to do it with love. And that's why I have the Cherub of Cups. Because it reminds me that the message that I am giving you guys, even though I'm being very blunt about some things, I need to learn to do it with love, okay? Because that's how it's being presented. We have the Prince of Arrows. Okay, this is very interesting. I'm gonna give you guys something special today. Like, I'm not supposed to give this to you because it's supposed to just focus on what your ancestors are telling you. But there's two things that are popping out to me immediately, and I have to say them, okay? So I'm gonna give you everything I got. It might take a little bit longer than my regular videos, but this is what I'm getting for you guys. The outcome if you follow. Okay, the 10 of, is that the 10? The 10 of disc reversed. All right. Your overall energy for this reading of why do you need this reading and what your ancestors are trying to tell you is judgment. Choices are needed to be made. Decisions are needed to be made. Things need to happen, baby. Okay? All right. So let's see. I'm going to try to sit down because I don't know. I was so tired earlier. But then when I start reading, I get super excited. And I'm jumping up and down sometimes. So I'm sorry. So here we go. Why do I need this reading? The Ace of Cups. You are being blessed right now, Earth signs. For some of you guys, you're being blessed with a lot of love. Okay? This is, again, for the week of July 18th through the week until next month, the 24th. And before I get going, can I just say that, damn, July has flown by. And I don't want to go back to work. I just thought I'd say that. I wish I could just do this all day and not have to go back to work. But I love kids, so I will go back to work. Basically, we are needing this reading because some of y'all are highly fertile, okay? And you haven't put healthy boundaries up, and you might get yourself in some trouble. So, I have right here the cup. And this is abundance in all things. Once again, doesn't necessarily have to be pregnancy or marriage, but that is what a lot of it says. Fertility is one of the top things. The beginning of love. Some of you guys are getting new energy of love this week. Okay, and that's why you need this reading, because you haven't cleared out old energy. So you can't start a new love if you still got the remnants of the old love. Don't make any sense, baby. Okay, it's like, I'm gonna be real gross with you. It's like taking a shower and putting on some dirty drawers. That is not clean. Okay, you need to start fresh and start clean. Get rid of all the baggage. This is about celebration and joy. This is a great way to start the week, guys. But your Carib is trying to tell you, put some boundaries. Okay, so then we're gonna go straight into, what is my spirit guide trying to tell me? And we've got the King of Arrows, a Leo. So for somebody out there, and the Carib of Wands is all about action. And we have the King of Arrows here. Right by the Prince of Arrows. For some of you, you're going to meet somebody. Okay? And it's gonna knock you off your feet. It's going to be action Jackson, okay? You're going to be knocked off your feet. This is just, this going to be an older person that you might meet, okay? And this is why you need the reading. You're going to meet this person, and they're going to be everything you wanted, and they're going to believe strongly in justice and the law. They're just going to be like a very straight-laced guy, financial advisor, probably even a lawyer, just somebody who's a professional and a very fair man. They're going to be very detached, possibly. But you're going to have to be you're going to have some boundaries with yourself so that you don't rush up into this and make the same mistakes over and over. And for some of y'all, it might not be a man. For some, it might be a woman that you meet, because this is a general reading, okay? However, for others, this is just energy that is unstable and unpredictable. So some of you guys, the reason why you need this is because you're going through times that are like sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. You don't ever know what's happening. And that's why the Carib of Wands is like, you really need to put some boundaries, because if you do, you're going to know what the hell is going on. The reason why you don't is because you're not putting boundaries, and you're not letting people know what you're going to take and what you're not going to take. So for some, this is an energy that you're dealing with, and for others, this is a man coming into your life or a woman entering into your life. And you'll know the difference. And you need to be very careful, because both of y'all are probably going to be very fertile, okay? So there needs to be some boundaries. Do not rush into this. However, you remember how I said you have old energy? Get rid of the old before you bring in the new, because right here we have the Prince of Arrows, and this is your advice. Era is a very interesting guy. He actually marries the goddess, the dark goddess of the underworld, and becomes the king of the underworld, okay? But this is an energy, and the reason why this is your advice is it's when you destroy ideas as quickly as they're creative, and it's like a harsh force, and it can be really enduring. It's almost like that you shoot it down before it even starts. Well, I'm just going to stay where I'm at because that's just the way it is. And you didn't even think it through. And you're just detached, and you're just a volatile energy sometimes. Okay, for some this is a volatile energy. And that's why the advice is kind of telling you maybe not be so harsh. Why don't you think things through? Why don't you finish what you were originally doing so that you can get to where you're going? Okay. So it's kind of like you're full of all these ideas and you start things and you just don't finish them. So you need to start finishing what you've started. Okay. So if you started putting those boundaries, like let's say that you started putting these boundaries in a work situation and you're like, I'm not working those late hours anymore because you don't pay me for them. And then you start going suckered back in slowly and surely, and before you know it, you're doing the same damn thing you were doing 2 weeks ago. In a relationship, it would look like this. Oh no, I'm not letting him come over. Or, oh no, I refuse to go out to that party with him. And then by Friday night, you're dressed up and ready to go. So, it's about you start off really good, but it's like you're not finishing it. And the advice is you need to finish it. And for others, this is that person that needs to make a decision in your life. And you need to put some really strong boundaries, because you see how you have the king and then you have a prince. Almost like you have two people, and it could be a queen and a princess if you're, however, or if you're same sex or whatever. It could be, I see it as energy and I see it as people. And I find it very interesting that they're both arrows. So I feel like communication is really strong with these two people. Okay, I know I promise not to give any predictions, but you're going to find yourself this week and you're going to run into this energy and you're going to run into these people. And I just kind of want you to understand the best approach to these kinds of people is to have very strong boundaries for your protection and for theirs. Okay. And it's not like they're going to hurt you or anything, but this is just someone who is emotionally detached. So you need to make sure their true intentions, because if you think about a soldier or a warrior, they go in, they conquer, they go. Okay, that's the archetype of the Prince of Arrows. He's a warrior. He's coming in, he's going to get what he wants, baby, and he's going to go. Rack 'em, sack 'em, leave 'em. Okay, so you need to make sure that there's boundaries. And plus, you don't want to mess with the prince, you want to be with the king. That's the way I look at it. Okay. Now, like I said, with others, it is the energy. It's being, and you're shooting down stuff. You're not finishing what you started, and that's what you need to do. If you finish what you started, your outcome is going to be better. However, I noticed if you follow the advice, you get the 10 of disc reversed. And I find it quite fitting that we have we have the eagle and the snake around the tree, right? They had agreed to be protectors of the Hulu tree. But then in the judgment card, the eagle eats the snake's babies, okay? So it's like there's no healthy boundaries between the snake and the eagle. And so one of them gets hurt. One of them really gets hurt and loses everything. And then the eagle gets punished, okay? And he flies away. Well, he thinks he gets away, but then his wing gets wounded and he goes into a ditch, which takes us straight into the judgment card. Okay, so I find it very interesting that that's how it fell. There has to be some healthy boundaries in order for you to make a choice. Earth signs, you have to make a choice. If not, what's going to happen if you go into it and you're not finishing what you start and you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you're not putting the boundaries, you're not listening to your ancestors, you're not looking at the signs, because I have a feeling you're getting the signs, but you're just willy-nilly over here doing whatever the hell you want to do, because the eagle is the sign of Ninatura. Ninatura is the king of disc. So that is like your king, the earth sign king. So you're like the eagle here. You're just messing things. Okay, not messing things up. You're making choices that are very impulsive, which is like the Prince of Arrows. Okay, so the thing is, you're gonna hurt somebody to get what you want, almost like you're being kind of greedy at times. And this may not be you, this might be somebody you're dealing with. So I just want you to think about the decisions that you're making, and that's why judgment came up. Like I said, this one's going to run a little bit longer, okay? This is what your spirit guides are trying to tell you. If you go through here and you're acting like the warrior, there's going to be a little bit of misfortune. You're going to have some troubles and breakups, some problems, okay? And we don't want that to happen. We want you to make a better choice. We want you to set the boundaries up. That's what the message is. Overall energy is judgment, guys. It's time to make a choice. It's time to decide. So here's the eagle, right? He's all healed. This is you guys, okay? Because this is the emblem of Ni Natura. This is the eagle. That's Etana. Etana's riding him going into heaven to go get this fertility plant. Damn it, somebody's having a baby. Fertility plant. And to have an heir to his throne, right? So they fly to heaven. But before they fly to heaven, the eagle was punished, remember, in the ditch. And Etana found him, nursed him back to health for 8 months. Somebody's pregnant. So for 8 months, and then the eagle gets better. They fly off to heaven, but the eagle gets scared and comes right back down. Some of y'all are dealing with an energy that takes you high and brings you low. Takes you high and brings you low. The story never is finished for the eagle. Never says what happens other than he was judged harshly. They never say that they made it. However, as the stories go on, we notice that Etana does have an heir to his throne. Okay, so with that being said, I know I've ran over my 20 minutes. I'm about to probably hit 30 minutes. I'm going to try to break this down real quick and easy. Start off of the week, we have fertility, abundance in all things. You guys are being blessed. However, there's some energies and some forces that are just erratic and volatile. You need to make sure you have some boundaries. For some, this is a person coming in that is going to try to sweep you off your feet. You make sure that you take your time with it, okay? Get rid of the old baggage before you start something with the new, okay? Then we have the advice for you is to not be like this warrior. Don't go in there just shooting your arrow and not finishing what you started, because if you do, you're not going to get the completion. You're not going to get what you wanted and what you desire and what you deserve, okay? And we have to make a choice. There has to be decisions or signs. You have to make a choice. And for some of you guys or ladies, you're choosing between a king and a prince. You're choosing between an older man and a younger man, or a more stable guy, or a guy who's giving you a bunch of bullshit. That's just the way I'm looking at it. Or it could be a female too, because this is a general reading. However, there is fertility here because of the story of Etana and the eagle, the Ace of Cups, and the bull is very fertile. So with that being said, I just wanted to let you know this is the energy, and this is why you're watching this. This is why your ancestors are talking to you, is that there has to be healthy boundaries for you guys. You have to put up a healthy boundary to protect you and the person that you're dealing with, whether it be work-related, relationship-related, however you want to relate this message in your life. It is about healthy boundaries in order to protect your spirit, to get the abundance that you deserve, the abundance of money and the abundance of love. Do you see how they're on the outside, and then we have the two people in the middle? So that's your energy for the week, and that's why that's what I pull for you guys. Hopefully it makes sense. This was very intense for me. I got super excited. I could go on and on and on just by what I see, but I know that after a while with these videos, because I have problems sitting down through videos too. I have to do it in segments if they're too long. It's too much. So hopefully this resonates with you guys. Let me know if it does. Hit me up on Instagram or email me. If you'd like to book a reading, you know how to reach me. If not, just leave it in the comments. I'll be sure to try to put it in somewhere. I always think I put it and I don't. However, big hugs and thanks. Thank you for your participation, watching my videos, making me feel the love. Hopefully you feel my love. And let's work on those boundaries, guys. Have a nice night.